Hello everyone, my name is Sonali Chopra. Welcome back to another episode of Around the World. Emerging as the world's fifth largest economy, India has become a focal point on the global stage. With its bold and self-reliant image, India is making remarkable progress internationally. Countries that once challenged India are now eager to collaborate and align with it. This is why powerful groups like the G7 are giving significant attention to India. Since 2019, India has been invited to its summit 6 times in a row. In 2024, the G7 meeting was held in Borgo Egnatia, Apulia, Italy. This time, the group was chaired by Italy. The meeting took place at a very interesting time, as there are ongoing wars in two corners of the world. Europe is experiencing political upheaval with a major election, and the United States is also heading towards an election. It is evident that Western economies are bearing the brunt of the wars, and the G7 group is striving to establish its significance on a global scale through these issues. Amidst all this, it is natural to question the current significance of the G7. Why is India important to this group? Could India become a formal member of the G7 in the future? In today's episode, we will discuss all these questions. But first, let's understand what the G7 group is. The G7 group is an organization of the world's most prosperous economies, including Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. These member countries meet annually to coordinate global economic policy and discuss other international issues. Regarding the history of this organization, it was formed in 1975 by the United States, France, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the then West Germany. Thus, at that time, it was an organization of 6 countries. However, the following year, Canada joined the group, and since then it has been known as the G7. In 2024, the group is chaired by Italy. Italy has presented several priorities to the group, including the wars in Ukraine and Gaza, the relationship between the G7 and developing countries and emerging economies, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region, and the advent of artificial intelligence. However, the differences among the member countries are quite evident. For example, the United States is pushing for a $50 billion loan for Ukraine, but there has been no consensus on this proposal within the G7 group so far. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been invited to the summit, which prompted Russia to issue a warning to the West, stating that if the G7 proceeds with this plan, Russia is prepared to take retaliatory action. In such a scenario, it wouldn't be wrong to say that the G7 group is currently striving to achieve internal harmony and is looking towards developing countries to give a new dimension to their economies. This is why Italy has invited 12 other heads of state to the G7 meeting this year, including India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Additionally, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Argentine President Javier Milei, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Jordan's King Abdullah, and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman are also invited. This will also be the first time a leader from Saudi Arabia will attend this summit. Now coming to the question, why is India being invited to the G7 meetings every time? Why is it so important for India? There are several reasons behind this. The first reason is India's growing influence and responsibility towards the world. These are the factors that make the G7 reluctant to ignore India. India's GDP has also touched the $4 trillion mark. In this regard, India's economy is larger than that of 3 member countries of the group, namely France, Italy, and Canada. According to the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. According to the World Bank, India has the highest growth rate among the 7 largest emerging markets and developing economies in the world. On the other hand, along with the United States and Japan, European countries also want to increase their influence in the Indo-Pacific region. In recent years, the UK, France, and Germany have developed their Indo-Pacific strategies. Italy has also recently shown interest in engaging with the Indo-Pacific region. Currently, the focus of global geopolitics and economics has shifted to the Indo-Pacific region. In such a scenario, these European countries are keen to take advantage of the economic opportunities present in this region. However, the Indo-Pacific has its own challenges, with China expanding its strategy and economic footprints. Amidst all this, India has emerged as a key strategic partner for Western countries to control China. It is noteworthy that among the G7 members, India has strategic partnerships with the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Japan. Additionally, India's relations in the strategic sector with Italy are also rapidly expanding. Besides all this, including India in the G7 meetings signifies the importance of the Global South to the member countries. This group is also focusing on the Global South. The United States and China are competing to establish their influence in the countries of the Global South. In this way, making India a partner in the G7 fulfills the aspirations of the Global South. India's participation will also promote the interest of the Global South. Considering India's importance in this organization, it wouldn't be wrong to say that India is a strong contender to become a formal member of this group. However, whether the G7 will accommodate India as a member and become the G8, or whether India will decline the offer of membership, only time will tell. But it is certain that having India on board has become essential for the G7 group to address the challenges it faces. Now is the turn of this week's Sunday special episode, in which we will talk about some other important news. Every day, new twists emerge in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In this series of events in recent days, Russia and Belarus have initiated the second phase of military exercises aimed at training their soldiers in nuclear weapons. In recent days, Russia has opposed the assistance Ukraine is receiving from Western countries and has also issued threats of nuclear attacks. In recent days, after the expansion of BRICS, the first ministerial meeting was held. This meeting was organized in Russia. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE have become members of the BRICS group. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have been part of this group from the beginning. Russia assumed the chairmanship of BRICS for a one-year term on January 1, 2024. Amid facing opposition on the global stage, Russia is rapidly strengthening its ties with North Korea. Media reports suggest that Russian President Vladimir Putin will soon visit North Korea for his third meeting with Kim Jong-un. Since their meeting in September last year, military, economic, and other forms of cooperation between North Korea and Russia have significantly intensified. So that's all in today's episode. See you in the next episode, but before that, let's note down a question based on today's story. India's support is necessary for the G7 group in the changing global scenario. Examine. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.